Fujifilm is not chasing megapixels anymore. They're chasing identity. While Canon and Sony wage war over full-frame dominance, while Nikon scrambles to catch up in mirrorless, Fujifilm has been doing something far more strategic, something quieter, something that might just redefine what a camera company can be in 2026. They're perfecting APS-C, and between now and the second half of 2026, Fujifilm's roadmap points toward 5 cameras that could reshape the entire X series. From accessible entry points that build loyalty to serious professional flagships that refuse to apologize for their sensor size. Today, we're ranking the top 5 Fujifilm cameras expected by 2026. We're breaking down what's rumored, what's realistic, and what Fujifilm is really planning behind closed doors. If you love diving deep into camera rumors and understanding the strategy behind the specs, hit that subscribe button now, because this channel is built for people who don't just want to know what's coming. They want to know why it matters. Stay till the end, because camera number 1 isn't just an upgrade, it's a declaration. Let's begin. We start at number 5 with the Fujifilm X80. This is the least talked about camera on this list, and that's exactly why it matters. See, Fujifilm has always treated their lower XT models differently than the competition treats entry-level cameras. They're not afterthoughts. They're not compromised budget versions meant to squeeze a few extra sales out of last year's technology. They're gateway cameras, intentional introductions to a philosophy. The X80 won't dominate headlines. It won't be the camera that tech reviewers rush to unbox, but it will quietly expand the Fujifilm ecosystem in ways that flagship cameras simply cannot. Because here's the thing about Fujifilm users. They don't switch systems often. Once someone experiences those film simulations, once they feel those physical dials under their fingers, once they understand that shooting with a Fuji isn't just about capturing images, but about enjoying the process itself, they tend to stay. The X80's role is simple. Make that first experience unforgettable. Based on Fujifilm's historical strategy, this camera would likely sit comfortably below the X-T5 in the upcoming X-T6. It would use a proven APS-C sensor rather than experimental technology. It would focus heavily on photography over video because that's where new users typically start. And it would retain those beautiful traditional exposure dials instead of confusing PASM controls. This camera exists to feel approachable, not overwhelming, not intimidating, just pure, joyful photography. Think of it as Fujifilm's way of saying, come in, sit down, try our colors. See if this feels like home. And once someone enters that ecosystem, once they invest in those X-mount lenses, once they fall in love with Velvia or classic chrome, Fujifilm needs to keep them creating. Which brings us to number 4. At number 4, we have the Fujifilm XS30. This camera serves a completely different audience. An audience that doesn't care about camera philosophy or heritage. They don't want to debate film simulation aesthetics or discuss the merits of rangefinder designs. They want results. Fast, reliable, professional. The XS line has always been Fujifilm's answer to the modern content creator. The person who shoots a corporate interview in the morning, a product showcase in the afternoon, and a personal vlog in the evening. The person who needs autofocus that just works, battery life that lasts through an entire shoot, and a camera that doesn't require a film school degree to operate. A refreshed XS body by 2026 is expected to prioritize modern autofocus with sophisticated subject detection. Reliable face and eye tracking that doesn't hunt or hesitate. Strong internal video performance with high bit rates and flexible codecs. And all of this in a compact body with genuinely long battery life. This is a workflow-first camera. It's Fujifilm's answer to Sony's ZV series and Canon's R series creator cameras. And honestly, they can't afford to miss here. Because while Fujifilm's traditional photographers remain loyal, the creator market is where growth lives. It's where the next generation discovers brands. It's where influence spreads. The XS30 needs to prove that you don't need to abandon Fujifilm when your photography hobby becomes your videography career. If you appreciate analysis that explains why cameras exist and not just what specs they have, This is the point where supporting the channel really helps. You can join the channel membership for deeper discussions and early access to research. Visit the website for long-form breakdowns that go even further than these videos. Every bit of support directly fuels future research-heavy content like this. Now we move from convenience to character. At number 3, the Fujifilm X Pro 5. This camera is not designed for trends. It's not built for algorithms. It's not optimized for metrics. It's designed for photographers who care about feel. The X Pro line is Fujifilm's philosophical core. Their love letter to film photography, their insistence that cameras should be objects of beauty and intention, not just tools for data capture. Rangefinder design, manual control, deliberate composition. The X Pro series exists because Fujifilm believes photography is as much about the experience as the image. And in a market obsessed with computational photography and artificial intelligence, that's a radical statement. If the X Pro 5 launches by 2026, and current rumors from Fuji X Weekly suggest early 2026 as a possibility, expectations include a modern X-Trans sensor with vastly improved autofocus, possible IBIS integration for the first time in the Pro line, and refinements to that iconic hybrid optical and electronic viewfinder that defines the shooting experience. But here's what the spec sheets won't tell you. This camera doesn't chase creators. It doesn't chase specs. It serves storytellers, documentary photographers, street shooters, wedding photographers who believe in decisive moments over spray and pray burst modes. The X Pro 5 is Fujifilm reminding the world that not every camera needs to be everything to everyone. That specialization has value. That identity matters. It's the camera for people who shoot less but care more. But emotion alone isn't enough in today's market. Nostalgia doesn't pay the bills. So next, we need a camera built for pressure, built for performance, built to prove that APS-C can compete at the highest professional level. At number 2, the Fujifilm X80. This is where Fujifilm directly challenges the idea that APS-C is somehow less than full frame. The X80 line doesn't exist to be the affordable alternative. It exists to compete with professional full-frame bodies, not by copying them, but by outperforming them in speed, in efficiency, in sheer capability per cubic centimeter. According to Daily Camera News, the X80 is rumored for early to mid-2026, and the leaked specs are genuinely impressive. A next-generation stacked APS-C sensor with extremely fast readout speeds, burst rates that could potentially rival flagship sports cameras, high-end 8K video capabilities at 60 frames per second, improved IBIS performance, potentially up to 8 stops of stabilization, enhanced heat dissipation for marathon recording sessions. This is Fujifilm's performance flagship, not a compromise, a challenge. See, the dirty secret of modern camera marketing is that sensor size has become a proxy for seriousness. Full frame means professional, APS-C means enthusiast, medium format means luxury. But those are just marketing narratives, not physical laws. The X80 is Fujifilm saying, we can match your full frame autofocus, we can exceed your burst rates, we can deliver cinema quality video, and we can do it in a smaller package with longer battery life and more affordable lenses. And if this kind of strategic analysis gets you excited, make sure you're subscribed, because we're building a community that understands cameras as cultural objects, not just spec sheets. This camera matters because it forces the industry to ask uncomfortable questions. If an APS-C camera can do everything a professional needs, then what exactly are we paying for with full frame? Better low-light performance? Sure, by maybe one stop. Shallower depth of field? Only if you don't understand equivalence. The X80 is a statement camera, and statements create movements. But even with all that power, with all that capability, there's still one camera that carries more weight. One camera that defines what Fujifilm will be for the next 3 to 5 years. At number 1, the Fujifilm X-T6. Every X-T camera sets the direction for Fujifilm's future. The X-T1 brought credibility. The X-T2 brought maturity. The X-T3 brought accessibility. The X-T4 brought video. The X-T5 brought resolution. The X-T6 is expected to bring everything and do it boldly. According to multiple sources, including gadget bears and K&F concept. The X-T6 is rumored for the second half of 2026. And if current leaks are accurate, this camera could feature a 40.2 megapixel stacked X-Trans CMOS 5 sensor, an X-Processor 6 with enhanced artificial intelligence capabilities, ultra-fast continuous shooting, potentially up to 40 frames per second, advanced subject detection autofocus covering animals, vehicles, and human subjects with precision, internal 8K video at 30 frames per second, 4K at 120 frames per second in 10-bit color, enhanced IBIS performance, again potentially reaching 8 stops, all in that classic XT body that photographers have loved for over a decade. But listen closely. The real significance of the X-T6 isn't in those specs. The real significance is what it represents. The X-T6 is Fujifilm doubling down on APS-C at the exact moment when most brands are abandoning it. When Canon has essentially given up on EFM. When Nikon's DX line feels like an afterthought. When Sony's APS-C development has slowed to a crawl. Fujifilm is running in the opposite direction. And they're not running out of fear. They're running because they see an opportunity. They see a market tired of diminishing returns, tired of paying more for marginal improvements, tired of gear that feels like it was designed by engineers who never actually take photographs. The X-T6 represents Fujifilm saying, we're not asking permission anymore. We're not apologizing for our sensor size. We're not positioning ourselves as the affordable alternative. We're setting direction. And when you look at Fujifilm's entire 2026 lineup together, the strategy becomes crystal clear. The X-T80 builds the base, the XS30 serves the creators, the X Pro 5 honors the purists, the XH3 challenges the establishment, and the X-T6? The X-T6 unifies it all. Fujifilm's 2026 lineup isn't random. Each camera has a purpose, a target user, a clear reason to exist. And that clarity, that sense of intentional design, is rare in this industry. Powerful in a market drowning in sameness. If you want more future-facing camera analysis like this, subscribe now. Join the channel membership for deeper dives and early access. Become a core or elite member. Link below in the description. Visit the website for research that goes beyond what fits in a video. And if this video brought you value, consider leaving a super thanks. It directly supports the time and research that goes into these deep analyses. See you in the next one.